If you are international student who plan to leave the US to travel for a study tour, for anything related to that, but your visa expired, this video will help you understand more about the process, how to get a visa in different country beside your own country if you cannot go back there. Well, this conversation is between me and the international student director at the school, and he will show me the steps to do that. I would like to share a little bit about my case. I haven't been back to my country since 2016, which is 4 to 5 years ago, and my visa only expired in 2016. But my I-20 is still active until this point because I've been attending different school. So it will be okay for the status as long as it's your I-20 active. That matters the most. You can leave the US without any issues, but in order to get back or enter the US, you need the new visa, and it's also not expired. So that's my case, and I'm just planning to go to France in order to do study tour for the summer, and my visa expires, so that's why I need to ask in advance if I can go there, and if I go there, how can I get back to the US. And he mentioned those steps and helped me along the way, so stay tuned.
Go in here and just print it out. So you would, instead of pay, you would check the status. Then all you have to do is enter your I-20 number, name and date of birth, and then you'll have your I-94 card. Once you have your DS-160 completed confirmation and your I-94 card, you would then make an appointment with the U.S. consulate in Paris. Now, so you just go on to the French embassy.gov website and schedule an appointment.
Okay.
To apply for a visa.
So I can schedule an event.
Yes, once you filled out the DS-160, because in order to make your appointment, it's going to ask you what is your DS-160 confirmation number. And then let's see how long it takes to get an appointment. So let's see, visa, wait times.
Do I have to do interview again, or just like?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
The only time you can take advantage of an interview waiver with a consulate that has one is when you're going back to the same consulate you went to the first time to apply for the same visa type to go to the same institution. Then you can just do an interview waiver. But now you're going to a different consulate in different countries, so you would have to do an interview.
Okay.
Okay, so let's.
So you have to pay again.
Yeah. And it takes, for a student, 3 days to get an appointment, as opposed to a visitor where it takes 285 days to get an appointment.
Oh, that's not bad.
No, that's
Back
not bad
in
at all.
my country, it took a long time, couple months.
What city?
Vietnam.
So where did you go, Ho Chi Minh?
Yeah.
It takes 18 days to get an appointment in Ho Chi Minh City for a student visa.
Maybe now, but before it was a long time.
But that's not including the turnaround time. That's just time to get the appointment. So how long did it take from the time you got the appointment to the time the actual physical visa was produced?
I think it was really fast, less than a week.
Then hopefully it'll, because that's what you need to happen in Paris, because you won't be able to get back in until you have the physical visa. So if it's a 2-week trip, it should be fine. If it's a 10-day trip, it should be fine. If it's a 5-day trip, it might be an issue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when I get there, I'm just gonna check their schedule.
Well, you'd have to have your appointment before you can before you go there, just to make sure that you have it. And you'll want it to be at the very first couple days of your trip.
Yeah. I will knock it out before going back, or when I get there. Let me summarize it again, the conversations in short, so you can understand this better when I get there in French. First of all, I need to check my status here if it's still active, and also check my I-94 card with my name, my passport, date of birth, insert that, and also pay, and then get the DS-160 confirmations in order to schedule appointment in French. And then also, after get a confirmations, I will make the appointments when I get there, so I can save time because I only there for 2 weeks. And also, just want to also clarify for my case, since it's a bit challenging for me. So most of us, before going to Europe or different country, we need to ask for a visa, especially if it's an international student. I need to actually also ask for the visa in order to go to France and Paris. So it might be a big concern, or maybe not that big, but since my visa expired, they kind of afraid me that when I go there, it's challenging for me to get back to US. So they might question me, your visa expired, why you go in French? So my study tour coordinators mentioned with me about this, and I asked the advisor. Basically, I need to let them know when I interview with the U.S. Embassy in Los Angeles that I will get or extend my visa in France in Paris in order to return to U.S. So it might help me redo the process or get the visa easier to go to Paris. And then when I arrive at that Paris, I might need to manage my time in order to have an interview with them ASAP when I get there, so I can give them a time period to work on my visa and get back to me before that deadline. So since I have a special case about this, I asked the study tour coordinator if I can stay in Paris longer than the group. So she answered that I can stay as long as I just need to give her the return day. So I was planning maybe I'm go to Paris and I go home to extend my visa, but it's like complicated because she mentioned that if I return or go to Vietnam to do that, I need to actually go back to Paris and then from Paris go back to the US. So it's like super complicated because they planning to buy a group ticket, so they need to do that in Paris. So it seemed that all the process just so complicated. So maybe I stay in Paris longer than the group and then have a longer time to wait for my visa to get back to me, and also travel in Europe as well because I have friends in Netherlands and Germany and stuff like that. Excuse me. So yeah. So it's a little bit challenging and complicated for international students who travel. If the visa expires, so just make sure that you check with your international student directors so you can get this advice and you don't get confused and you don't get stuck out there before the school starts. So usually students, when they go back or return to US, they need to attend classes because there's a summer quarter, but I won't attend summer quarter, so I don't need to start school in July at all, so I can stay there longer and won't start a new semester until October 2022. So yeah, I have a planning of time to travel, so I just need to plan out in advance for like a year and make sure that my plans are workouts and also match with a timeline so I can get back and start school on time. Well, I hope this helped you in order to understand it better and make the right decisions. You not get stuck out there in different countries and cannot go back to US to study to complete your program. Well, good luck. And also, actually have the job interview next week with the Career Center.
And you're a transfer student, correct?
Correct.
Did you transfer your I-20?
Yeah.
What's the last name?
VO.
Is this your first quarter?
That's for them, yes.
Yeah. What was your major at your previous college?
I graduated with event planning, study business in Chabot College in the Bay Area.
And what are you studying here?
Apparel industry management.
Okay. It is slightly different. So you would want to have a conversation with Ronnie Miller, your department chair. She's going to want to assess where you're at because...
Oh, I want to have a job on campus.
Oh, well then that's totally different. It's a totally different thing.
Yeah.
Job on campus, you don't need special approval for it, and it doesn't have to have anything to do with your studies.
Yeah.
You can literally do anything on campus.
But the thing is, do I need to prepare any paperwork in advance for that?
No.
When
So
I
what
get the
happened
offer
is
letter?
do you have a social security number?
Yeah.
Oh, you're going to be easy.
Okay.
So you'll just interview. If they decide they want to hire you, you have to then go through the hiring packet. You'll have to go get drug tested and fill out the domestic tax forms, but that's about it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, just because you don't have to submit anything to the government for on-campus employment. All I have to do is record it. It doesn't need any special approval. It doesn't have to have anything to do with your curriculum. So it's much easier and quicker to get processed.
Yeah.
Yeah, it just can't be more than 20 hours a week, that's all.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you said the parallel industry management is more, I think I need to talk with the career advisor or.
I would talk to both. Ronnie Miller is your department chair. She has an open door policy. She's very easy to talk to.
Yeah.
And your career advisor as well. So what aspect do you think, I mean, you're getting started on this major, so it's gonna take a while till you're truly like deep into it, but what part of this do you think you wanna work in?
So I had business back home before I come in here. So I really want to study
What's
about
the business?
Clothing. I used to sell clothes for 3 years
Okay,
online.
perfect major for you.
So yeah, that's why I talked with somebody else, but not really a specific chairperson. So I'm not sure I'm going the right routes.
What's more important, knowing how to design and physically make the garment, or the overall process? On some basic knowledge on design and garment construction, more on production, manufacturing, distribution, marketing.
That's what I like.
Then you're in the right major.
Okay.
Yeah, it would only be a decision between product development and apparel industry management. Apparel industry management is basically teaching you concept to finish, from the inception of the idea to the sale and marketing of the product. So everything in the middle.
Okay.
How do I design the project? How do I manufacture the product? How do I source my product materials? How do I ensure my quality control? What are my import-export regulations to contend with my tariffs? Where do I distribute? How do I distribute? Do I do storefronts? Do I do online? How do I market my product? How do I price my product? Stuff like that.
Yeah.
So that your major is more all-encompassing. Whereas the product development would be, how do I take an existing product and take it to a new level in terms of how it's marketed and branded? You know, but so that's why it would be a toss-up between the two. But are you going to be manufacturing your own clothes or buying them already made?
Before I bought wholesale and do resale, but right now I want to do manufacturing.
And you're in the right major.
Okay.
And if you haven't met with Ronnie Miller and you still have some reservations, I would decide in this first quarter, before you complete too much coursework in a major you don't like, I would sit down with the department chair and tell her, here's my goals, and tell me why I should be in your major, and then she can kind of signpost some things for you and say, you're going to want to pay attention to this, and she'll ask, you know, where do you think you're going to source your products from? I mean, she's very knowledgeable of these type of things.
Yeah.
So both would be a good resource for you, both your department chair and your career advisor.
Okay. Yeah, because also there's an international manufacturing, because I'm from Vietnam, so.
Yeah, but the IMPD is an advanced third year program that requires a FINM AA for admissions.
Okay.
So that would be an option for your next program, but not your initial program. And that program actually works with an existing company and creates a new product line. So for example, you know, we've worked with Nike, Adidas, the U.S. Army, Nutrisystems, I mean, a laundry list of companies, Levi's. So for example, you know, 35 years ago, we worked with Levi's, and the student's job in the IMPD program is to develop a new line. One of our students created the Levi's Dockers line. That was her idea, that was her inception. So they go overseas, they source the materials, they make the garments, they do a show at the end to show the product line they created. Levi's obviously picked up the Dockers line and hired her. She's now a VP over at Levi's. She's been there for years. So that's what that program is actually. It's advanced because you need to know everything already. And now you're working with an actual product and doing the work.
So it's the next step after
so
this
it's
program.
like a next level. That's why it's an advanced third year program as opposed to entry level AA.
Yeah, it makes sense, because I'm just curious, because sometimes it's like international, it's just different than what they have.
Because there's so many other things to take into account.
Yeah.
But they have presentations every year. Both your major and that major, I highly would recommend you checking them out. They're probably virtual this year. If they're in person, go, because then you'll see what everything's about. You'll see the capstone, everything that kind of encapsulates what the education purpose was for, you know. So in your major, it's a group project where you create a company, and then each of you takes on a different role within the company. So one's the designer, one's the colorist, one's the manufacturing specialist, one's the production, one's the marketing distribution person. And then you put together a fictitious product, sometimes actually make them, and you show the whole process from concept to finish in a big presentation. The IMPD presentation shows you, here's the company we're working for, here's the line we created for that company. You should check out their presentations, because you'll kind of get a feel for, you know, the end product of the major.
Okay, yeah, I will. So if you watched to the end of this video, thank you so much for spending the time to really listen carefully to it, because it's really important for a transfer student or new student with new career. My suggestions for you is based on what he suggested and also my own experience. Before really start a semester, even though it's your first semester ever, you need to go talk with your chairpersons or the coordinator of that major in order to really talk with them to see if your the way of thinking about your career and events match with the program or not. So they can give you a map to go exactly the way you want it, or they can explain it to you in a better way and give you pictures from big to small and explain it so you can really focus on certain thing that they suggested to you to make you succeed better, and you know, just along the way. And also, besides talking with department or chair of the major, you also need to talk with your career advisor at the first semester ever. So they can actually help you to build your resume, what you need to focus on, what you really need to study on, or what you should know in advance, or who or which company you should connect with in order to get you reach where you want it in the future. And there are two routes of the major. So first of all, if you want to own your company, then they can give you a good suggestions or what you should know and learn and what you should do. And if you want to work for somebody else first in order to get experience, and then you can either start your own business after that, or you can do whatever you want. As long as you talk to them and share, they will give you a pictures, clear pictures, so you can just analyze in your head and oh, this is where I'm gonna go. So you don't waste your time until like third semester and you recognize, oh, this is the wrong major, I shouldn't study it, or I don't like it. That's why it's so important. And I want to emphasize again, go talk to as much as possible person as possible, so you can really help yourself to understand how this career gonna lead you to who you want to become, and what you're gonna do in the future after graduations. And also before graduations, involved in lots of activities, and also go to different companies or do volunteer with those companies, so you can do hands-on experience and understand it's better. And it's like, is this the right kind of job, or the environment I want to work for or not? So you can realize at the early age before graduations. Since I am junior and transfer student, so I only pass or skip those 2 years at the really basic classes, so I'm really dive deep into the major already. So it's really important for the last 2 years, which is junior and senior, because after this you need to build up your resume and your skill sets and experience and knowledge in order to know what you want to do, because you've been in school for so long, and this is the right time for you to really connect with your friends, your advisor, and also whoever can help you achieve your goal in the quality way. That's what I can really give you the advice for, because a lot of people study and never involved in any activity or school, or never go out there to work for any company before graduation. So actually when they graduate, they start working, actually haven't found a job yet. It was really struggling because they don't have enough knowledge or skill set to work. And then when they start working, they feel like they don't like the job, and they just like feel lack of motivations to wake up every day and go to do that. and then they switch the major. So it's waste of time, money, and your energy. So please make sure get these advice seriously, and it can help you save so much time and energy, and you can thank all of us later. In general, I hope this video helped you somewhat about different topics, and I would like to summarize it again for you that what we cover. First one, can you travel to different country if your visa expires? Second, if you want to work on campus as on-campus employment for international student, what you should know in advance. And lastly, should you meet someone if you feel confused or don't know if it's the right major for you or not? And lastly, I want to say thank you so much for once again spending your time to watch the video, and also hope you got lots of notes in order to learn something new today. And I hope to see you next time. I cannot speak English today, but anyway, you know what I mean.